Hey everybody, Susan here with Pumpkin Hill Stampers. I have a stamp and show and tell for you today, and I am going to show you, here are my two mock-ups. I'm going to show you how I stamped these images using my Stamparatus. I'm going to feature the Sending Sunshine stamp set, and this is for the third Thursday's blog hop for March. Time marches on, and so I thought what better than signify time than the sunrise, right? We all love to see that morning sunrise, and boy do I bet now I'm not the only one that wishes she was seeing it on a beach. So I'm going to show you how I crafted this idea, putting the images together using the Stamparatus, and then we'll finish off the card project, okay? Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. So as you can see, I have my Stamparatus here. Now, remember when you use your Stamparatus, these are the photopolymer, so I need to use my spongy mat underneath. So I've got my mat and I've got my grid sheet for my scrap. And then I'm going to start with my cardstock so that I can have my image tacked down. So I know from looking at my finished image here, I don't really stamp in this corner, so that's safe. I can put a magnet down there. And then for now, I'm just going to go ahead and put my magnet up here, okay, because I know that this corner kind of ends up blank, and that's where I'm going to put my sentiment, and I'm actually going to just use a regular block to do that. So my two magnets should be safe there. Remember, you don't want your magnets to get touched because they're super strong, and if they clink, they will break. So let's be super careful. Okay, so I'm going to start by putting my stamp on my paper. So you can see mine aren't super clean because I've already done a couple samples, but that's okay. So I'm going to put this down on my paper here, just like that. And then I swing my arm, we call these arms of the Stamparatus, I swing my arm down and I adhere it just by pressing it in. Okay, and my magnets help keep my paper in place. Now my paper wanted to shimmy a little bit, so when it shimmies just a little bit, I just add a little bit of adhesive behind it to secure it a little more. So whatever you're comfortable with. If you just want to go with the magnets, that's fine. If you want to add a little adhesive for extra support, that's fine too. Okay, so here we go. So I've got that first layer. So I'm using two blues. I'm using Coastal Cabana and Bermuda Bay as my two blues. So this one's going to be the lighter one. You also could just do tone on tone, because if you stamped a second layer with the same color, you get a slightly darker shade. So there's my first one. So I ink that up, and then I'm just pressing that down. Now the nice trick with Stamparatus is that you're never going to rock, you're never going to get an extra little shadow of an image. So you can really press that down, or you can stamp it, and if you lift it up and it's not dark enough, you can always stamp it again. Okay, but that's plenty for me. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off this arm, right? It just pulls right out of the grip there, and I'm going to flip it over, and now I'm going to put on my second image. So I want to line this one up over the top of my stamp. Now when I did my first one, you're going to notice that I was off a little bit, so it didn't line up quite exactly right. So sometimes you have to practice. So I'm just going to line that up. I know that there's a little bit of overhang on the photopolymer before the image starts, so I'm just up a little bit. And now I'm going to put that back down, and now I'm going to ink that. Now like I said, I'm using two tones, so this time I'm using the Bermuda Bay. I'm going to ink that with a slightly darker color, and I'm just going to stamp that over the top. And if I got my images lined up, I should be good to go. Okay, it's a little bit low there, but I'm going to let it go. Okay, it's a little bit low, but you could adjust it and stamp it again if you wanted to do that. Or you could just fill that in with an aqua painter or a marker. Okay, so now I'm going to add the sun. So here's my sun, and there's actually a line, a distinct line in that stamp where the horizon is. So I just have to line that up with my image underneath. And being all clear, I can see through my stamp as I'm lining up my images. So for the most part, I can get it all lined up. So again, I'm just adhering the sun. And this time I'm using Mango Melody as my sunshine color. So I've inked that up. Now you can see I've got extra ink on my board there, right, because it's a little tiny stamp. I can stamp it, it's not going to touch my cardstock, but it is going to get on my magnets. So I'm just going to use my chamois and just kind of wipe off that extra ink. So however you want to work with your tools. Alright, so there's my sun. Alright, so now I'm going to flip this over on this one, because now I want to add the clouds. So let's see, I think I want puffy clouds, so I'm going to put one down like that. There's actually 3 cloud stamps, so you can build your clouds however you want. I'm just kind of putting them in the sky up above. One more time, I'm going to press those to my clear arm. Now I'm going back to my lighter color, so this is the Coastal Cabana, and I'm just lightly tapping that on there. And then I'm going to ink and stamp those. Okay, so there is the primary focus of my card. So I'm going to take this off now. I could continue to use the Stamparatus, but I'm going to add the sentiment now, and then I'm going to switch and use the palm trees from the Timeless Tropical stamp set. And so I'm just going to freehand those. Okay, so pretty close, right? So when you use the Stamparatus, you can do multiples, right, without doing a lot of adjustments. So these were my 2 kind of getting my idea down on paper, and I knew I had to make some adjustments by practicing with them. And like this one, I overstamped a little. So remember, stamping is an art, and we all need practice. So don't worry when you don't exactly get it perfect the first time, just try again. Alright, so here is my card. So I want to add my sentiment up to the top corner before I add my palm tree. Now the reason I'm doing that is because I want my sentiment to be in the top corner, but then I want my palm tree to overlap the sunrise. So I need to put that in first, and then I'm coming in with Early Espresso for my tree. So I debated whether to use a lighter color or a darker color, and I decided to go with the darker one because I kind of wanted it to be like a silhouette with the sunrise. And so now I can see that I can bring my tree in, and I'm not going to overstamp on my expression because I can see it there, and I'm not going to stamp over my sun itself, but I'm going to have those trees off to the side. Pretty cool, huh? Alright, so there we go. So now let's go ahead and layer up our card and try to finish it off here. Okay, so to stick with the Early Espresso, I am using an Early Espresso base, and I have dry embossed that with the Old World paper. I just wanted some rough texture in there, so I did that with the Old World paper. So maybe the beach and the sunrise and the ocean made me think about pirates a little bit, so I wanted that Old World feel. Okay, now I've cut this Mango Melody piece just slightly larger, so I've got about an 1/8 of an inch, maybe a 1/16 of an inch even, framing around there. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that on with my adhesive. Okay. And then that's going to go on my card. Now you can tip it, you can put it square. I think I'm just going to put it square today. And I'm going to go ahead and add that with my dimensionals. So just peel all those backs off. I think I'm going to add one more in the center just so we've got some even lift. Alright, so I'm just going to put that on the front of my card. Okay, so then I decided after I did all that, I wanted to add one more expression. I wanted to add the one inhale, exhale, enjoy. So I've got that on my block here on the other side. So it would fit there I was debating whether I wanted to put it on another piece, but actually I think it might just fit right there. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp that in the mango melody as well. Now I probably should have done that before I popped it on my card, but I had planned on putting it on another piece, so we'll see how this turns out. So I'm going to put it right down here near the bottom. I'm going to press that and hope I get even coverage. I'm okay with that. So the other idea I had was to stamp it on a little piece, and I was just going to put it over the top, but I think I like it right there, so I'm not going to do that. Okay, so there it goes, guys. I hope putting the Stamparatus and using the stamps and the layers made sense to you. I know that sometimes we feel a little awkward when it's new and different, but I do enjoy using my Stamparatus, so I'm happy to share that technique with you. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoy our blog hop today. Time marches on. And I hope you enjoy all of your stamps. So until next time, have a great day. Bye-bye.